But what time can allow and permit me today to talk to you about is a system called the National Identification System called NIDS. Anybody ever heard about it? NIDS? You've heard about it? You've heard some bad things about it, right? You heard that it is the mark of the beast? You heard that it's going to be a chip that is going to be inserted in you? You heard all the negatives about this ID that the government plans to roll out. And so today I am here to clear up a lot of the misinformation that you may have. And so I want you to look to the screen where some of the information will be projected. So what is this NIDS that we're talking about? It stands for the National Identification System. And simply put, it is technology with resources, policies, and softwares combined together to create an identification process or an identification system. So basically, it's an information system storing personal information about individuals that will be used to identify them where needs be, right? So essentially, what it is an ID card. And so why is it that the government wants to roll out a new ID card? I'm sure that is the first thing that you want to ask yourselves. And the reality is that we have a number of functional IDs, such as a passport. And the passport is for what? Traveling. And we have the TRN. What is the TRN for? Tax related. It's a unique identifier. It's a unique number associated with each Jamaican for tax-related matters, right? You have the voter's ID, and this is where a lot of persons refer to it as the national ID, but we do not have a national ID card. We have a voter's ID card, all right? And I'm going to show you why is it that it's not a national ID card. And we have a school ID. Everybody in here would have their school IDs, right? But can your school ID be used at other institutions? No. It's only within the confines of this geographic location. Then we have the driver's license. What is that for? Driving. So what you find is that a lot of these identity documents that we have in Jamaica, they serve a particular purpose. And one, you have to be 18 years and older to get some of these ID cards. So for example, the voter's ID, you have to be 18 years and older to register for a voter's ID. It is free, but you have to be 18 years and older. The passport, it's a constitutional right, but it comes with a cost. Then you have your school ID. Of course, you have to be enrolled in the institution to get that ID card. The driver's license, again, you have to be 18 years and older to get the driver's license, and it also comes at a cost. And the TRN, it's just a random 9-digit number, and it does not have a photograph or any biometrics linked to that individual. So what that creates, it's a need for an ID card that is one, free, and two, an ID card that is for everyone. And so the government plans to roll out this national ID card under a NIDS system, a national identification system. And this national identification system, it will be free from birth. So you will be able to register your child from birth. And you will get a national ID card along with a national number, national identification number. And the use of minimum biometrics is what will be used or taken from you when you go to enroll. And the minimum biometrics that we're talking about here, we want a photograph of you, right? We want your fingerprints, and we want a manual signature. So we don't want your DNA. We don't want your blood type. It is not a chip that is going to be inserted in you, and it is not the mark of the beast. All right? So that is what NIDS is all about. And most importantly, it is a voluntary ID. It is not a mandatory ID. It's a voluntary identification system. And we want to encourage Jamaicans to be a part of this system once we start to roll out. And we can look at the benefits in a few minutes from now. So you'll get a number and you'll get an ID card. And we're going to show you what that ID card looks like. Now, there will be an authority that will be set up to distribute and issue these ID cards. And this authority is called the National Identification and Registration Authority, the NIRA. And the NIRA will have two major functions. They will carry out the functions that RGD currently do, right? And they will now have another function, which is identity management, which is the distribution of this ID card. So that is what NIRA will do. So who is it that can enroll for this ID? Citizens of Jamaica can enroll, and ordinary residents of Jamaica can enroll for this ID once we start the rolling out process. So once you're living in Jamaica 6 months and over, you'll be considered an ordinary resident. And if you're born in Jamaica, you're considered naturally a citizen. So you will be able to enroll for this ID card. The basic information that we want when you go to register, we want your full name, we want your date of birth, your country of birth, your place of birth, your parents' name, whether the individual is male or female, and under the Constitution of Jamaica, it only recognizes male or female. So NIDS will not choose anyone's gender. Okay? So whether the individual is male or female, principal place of residence, other places of residence, and other information that we will collect are your nationality, period of residence in Jamaica, your marital status, your name of your spouse if you're married, and your occupation. And of course, we spoke about the biometrics that we need. We want a picture of you, a facial image, we want your fingerprints, and we want a manual signature. So we don't want any DNA, we don't want any blood type, it's not a chip that we're going to put in you, it's just a simple ID card. All right? And other information where applicable, we want your birth entry number. That number is on your birth certificate, your driver's license number if you have one, your passport number if you have one, your national insurance number if you have one, and your path number if you have one. So essentially what we're trying to do is to reference all your existing IDs into one. So instead of walking around with your TRN card, your NIS card, your path card, all of these cards, it will be referenced to this one ID, and that will be sufficient to verify your identity. And we brought a version of what the ID card will look like today to show you. Clearly, it's not going to be this big, so you're not going to walk around with this big ID card. It's going to be a pocket-sized ID card, and you'll notice on the front of the card, it has coat of arms, a flag, and it does say National Identification Card. National Identification Card. And your national identification number will be on the card, on the front of the card, if you can come forward somewhere. Your national identification number will be on the front of the card, and this number is the same number as your TRN. So if you already have a TRN number, that is the number that will be there. If you don't have a TRN number, that's fine. A national identification number will be issued to you. Right? Your name, your surname, other given names, your nationality. Now remember, you could have a non-Jamaican applying for this ID card once they are a resident of Jamaica. Date of birth, your signature, and a picture of you will be on the front of the ID card. On the back of the ID card, you will have your status, whether you're a citizen, or resident. If you're a justice of the peace, any JPs in here, No JPs in here. You will have CJP. If you have a disability, the wheelchair symbol is an optional symbol. If you choose, we could put it on the back of the ID card if you choose. Your sex, male or female, M or F, date the card was issued, date the card expires. The card will expire every 5 years for minors and every 10 years for adults. Okay? Place the ID card or parish of enrollment or place of enrollment, wherever you got the ID card, that will be on the back of the ID card. So we will be setting up about 24 enrollment sites right across the island. And already we have started to roll out some of the enrollment centers in Kingston, and we're going to be rolling out island-wide over the next year and next year and a half. Your driver's license information will be on the back of the ID card, and whatever basic information, your passport number will be on the back of the card. So essentially, as I said earlier, what this ID seeks to do is to reference or merge all your existing IDs into one. And thereby it reduces the need for you to walk around with your other ID cards when asked to give an or verify your identity. So back to the PowerPoint. So we spoke about the ID card. We spoke about the renewal period of 5 years for minors and every 10 years for adults. So what is it that you will be able to do with your ID card? You'll be able to use your ID card anywhere where your identity is needed to be verified. And so we are going to be setting up a process in which that can happen. And I'm going to show you a diagram on screen so you can understand what that process will look like. So this person, her name is Ashley, and Ashley got an ID card, our NIDS ID card. So Ashley decided to go to a financial institution. And that financial institution, we're calling it a third party. And this third party is in green. So she goes to this financial institution. She presents her ID card to the financial institution. And the financial institution asks her for permission to verify her identity with the authority. She will then, or the institution, the third party, will then send an electronic verification request to the authority. And remember, the authority here is called the what? The National Identification and Registration Authority. The authority will verify Ashley's identity and send back a match or a mismatch response. And all of this will happen in a matter of seconds. So we just broke down the process so that you can understand. An important thing here is that you will be notified once that process is completed. So just like when you're making a purchase using your Visa debit card, you get a notification on whether it's SMS or through your email. It will be a similar process. Once you use your identification card and your identity is established or verified, you will also be notified. So what are some of the benefits of this ID? And I am sure this is where you really want to know, why is it I need this ID when it starts? The first benefit is that it is free. So when you look at the driver's license, that comes at a cost. Passport comes at a cost. With this ID card, it is free. There's no cost to register for this ID card. Second benefit is that it is for everyone. So for the first time in Jamaica, you don't have to be 18 years and older to get an issued identification card from the state. You will now have an ID card that you can get even from your child, coming all the way up. Third benefit, transparency in identity verification. You must give consent every time your identity needs to be verified. And you will also get notifications once your identity has also been verified. You'll also see that it will simplify a lot of bureaucracy in Jamaica. So currently, everybody in here knows who a justice of the peace is, right? Now, JPs a lot of times they are consumed with just the function of verifying persons' identities. In the future, once you have this national ID card, the function or the need to get a JP to be constantly verifying you becomes zero, nil. So it reduces that function of a JP. And the JP can now start looking at other functions and other duties that they have, right? Easier access to your benefit. A lot of pensioners, they have to sign up every 3 months for what we call life certificates. Life certificates. And it can be a tedious process, right? A lot of pensioners, some of them, they're at home, they don't have anybody to help them. And as a result of that, just to get their pension from government, it's a tedious process. With this national ID card, when they have this national ID card, in the future, the process of needing to go through and get a life certificate every 3 months, it's totally zero, nil. They don't have to do that again. Another major benefit. Another major benefit, and this is for a lot of young people who use the digital services or use the computer a lot or the email, internet. Digital signature. We will all get a digital signature that we can utilize to sign documents electronically. It's a major benefit also. So instead of printing off documents, you can now sign documents electronically using your national ID card. Financial services, a lot of times when you go to the banks currently, the banks are asking you for more than one ID or a long list of requirements just to open a bank account. With this ID card, this is another major benefit. With this ID card, the one ID will be sufficient to start the process to opening a bank account. So, and here's the next thing. Once you show the third party your ID card, your NIDS ID card, they cannot, under the law, ask you for any other ID. So they can't ask you for a secondary ID to accompany this national ID card. And that's another major benefit of this ID card. So those are some of the major benefits of this ID system. And I know that once more and more persons sign up in the future for this ID card, under the system, the country on a whole will have a number of benefits. You will see where there is greater efficiency within our country and a greater efficiency in terms of how we grant access and also benefits to citizens of Jamaica. So, it's very hot up here. The lights are pelting, but outside is raining. And I know that you would have now have a better understanding of what this national ID card is all about. I hope that in the future, once it starts to roll out, that NCU will be one of those top institutions that will want for their institution and persons within the confines of this institution to sign up for this ID card. So thank you very much for having us here today. Thank you very much for having us within this week. And we look forward to everyone in this room signing up for this national ID card in the future. May God bless you. Thank you very much.